We expect to see FBI analysts take the stand today in the Jimmy Rodgers murder trial. Lisa is anchoring our extensive coverage from the Lee County Courthouse. And Lisa, I know you've been covering this story since the murders happened 4 years ago. You've been out there every day for this trial. What are some of the key points you're expecting to see happen in court today?
Well, Chris, we do expect those two FBI analysts to report to the courtroom today after an abrupt ending to the court session yesterday. This could complicate things a bit in this trial, especially today as things get underway. Before we get to those complications, though, I do want to recap how we got to where we are with Jimmy Rodgers on trial for murder. Now, prosecutors say Jimmy Rodgers beat Dr. Teresa Sievers to death in June of 2015 with a hammer. They claim all of this was thought out well beforehand, and Teresa's husband, Mark Sievers, set all of this up with his best friend, Curtis Wright, who allegedly hired Jimmy Rodgers to help him with this murder. Mark Sievers will go on trial after this trial is finished. Right now, that's expected to be sometime next month. Wright, meanwhile, took a plea deal in exchange for his testimony against both of these men. Now to those delays. The first happened immediately after lunch yesterday when a juror went to the judge with some concerns. Take a listen.
Sir, I was told you had an encounter at lunch?
Yes, me and two of my other jurors went to a local restaurant for lunch. A gentleman sat next to us, who I did not recognize, who has not testified, opened up his laptop and had photos of submitted evidence. I just glanced, asked the gentleman to move. He quickly closed his laptop and left.
That juror did add that he saw one photo on the man's laptop of Jimmy Rodgers wearing a T-shirt. Now, this could have ended up bringing the case to the standstill if the judge felt that the jurors could no longer do their jobs and remain unbiased in this case. However, the judge in this case did feel that this wouldn't impact the trial too much, and that is the good news here. Now, if there were complications, though, there are two alternate jurors in case something like this were to happen, but three jurors, again, were involved in seeing this evidence outside of the courtroom, and having all three of those jurors removed could have led to a mistrial. A new trial date would have had to have been set. It really would have led to a lot of complications. But again, Judge Kyle did say he doesn't believe this will be an issue going forward. And he also thanked that juror you just heard from for being honest and reporting this and coming forward. Now, after this whole thing was resolved, there was another roadblock. There seems to be some communication issues between the state and the defense, and this really came to a head yesterday when it came to the testimonies of two FBI witnesses who were expected to take the stand yesterday. Now, the defense claimed that they didn't have this information and this evidence from those FBI analysts, and they still needed to depose those witnesses. And they had asked prior to the trial starting for the trial to be delayed multiple times. Well, the judge again said no. And after this lunch break yesterday, Judge Kyle really seemed to have had enough of this.
You put me into a conundrum where you guys haven't asked her if she had it. You guys didn't show her a disc, and you decided not to depose her because you said you didn't have it. And then I am in the position I can't produce these things, so we would just wait infinitum to have trial. If the state has said they've turned it over, I don't know what you would expect me to do, because what you're basically saying is we would never go to trial.
No, I expected a continuance that I asked for and I laid a record for to give me an additional couple of weeks to be prepared on this.
All the information you have on
You can see that there were definitely some tense moments in the courtroom surrounding this situation. This was all yesterday as those two FBI witnesses were set to be called to the stand. That didn't end up happening, and instead Judge Kyle ended court for the rest of the day, causing a delay here. We do expect to hear from those FBI witnesses today.